Apple has officially failed at artificial intelligence. Again. After more than 2 years attempting to build their own large language models to compete with ChatGPT, Apple appears to have quietly given up. Last month, buried on Google's website, a statement revealed that Apple has entered a multi-year collaboration where the next generation of Apple's foundation models will be based on Google's Gemini running in the cloud. That's a polite way of saying, we couldn't make our own AI, so we're using someone else's. And what makes this even more telling? Apple never announced it themselves. No press release, no newsroom post, no keynote slide. For a trillion-dollar company famous for controlling its narrative, that silence says everything. Whenever Apple has good news, or even bad news, they announce it publicly. They were fast to promote Apple Intelligence in 2024. But a $1 billion per year AI partnership with a direct competitor? Nothing. Why? Because for the first time in decades, Apple failed at something that nearly every other major tech company has already achieved. OpenAI, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Anthropic, all of them built or trained large-scale models. Apple didn't. And the reason isn't one mistake. It's a perfect storm of Apple's biggest weaknesses colliding. Let's start with the most obvious problem, Siri. Siri has been bad for over a decade, and not because Apple doesn't know it's bad. Even Apple's former AI leadership admitted that Siri only works if users phrase questions exactly right. Ask, "What time zone is Las Vegas in?" Siri fails. Change it slightly? It works. That's not intelligence. That's brittle logic. The reason is simple. Siri still runs on rule-based architecture from over 15 years ago. Engineers literally had to define umbrella, rain, weather, forecast. Every path had to be manually coded. Modern AI doesn't work this way. Large language models learn patterns, not rigid rules. Apple never rebuilt Siri's foundation, and that decision haunted them. Apple's second weakness is control. When Siri launched, its original creators wanted it to become an app store for AI, where developers could add new capabilities. Apple said no. It took 5 years just to open Siri to developers, and even then, Apple tightly restricted what they could do. Compare that to Amazon's Alexa. Developers were given freedom almost immediately. Result? Alexa exploded from 10 domains to over 1,000 in 2 years. Siri stayed stuck. Apple believes control equals quality, but in AI, control equals stagnation. Apple's commitment to privacy is admirable, but it became a massive handicap. Apple insists user data stays encrypted on device, even from Apple itself. But modern LLMs are massive, require huge compute, learn from large data sets. That's why they live in the cloud. By refusing to centralize data, Apple denied itself the very fuel AI needs to improve. Great for privacy, terrible for training models. AI research thrives on openness. Google published the Transformer architecture. OpenAI built on it. The entire industry advanced together. Apple did the opposite. AI teams inside Apple often didn't even know what other Apple teams were working on. Worse, Apple wouldn't let researchers publish papers. In AI, publishing equals credibility. So top researchers left, or never joined. In 1 quarter alone, Apple lost 12 AI researchers. Apple hates uncertainty, but AI development is uncertainty. While Microsoft trained models with 500,000 chips and Google used over 1 million, Apple had about 100,000. You can't build state-of-the-art AI on a budget. Apple didn't lose the AI race because they're stupid. They lost because they didn't rebuild Siri, they over-controlled developers, they prioritized secrecy over science, they underinvested, and they marketed before they delivered.